Let's go off the charts. It is Mike Lindsley with Joe Convertino Jr. from CH Insurance. Remember, group benefits, personal and commercial insurance, and a heck of a lot more. A title sponsor of the ML Sports Platter. Visit chinsurance.cc. Look at this. I've brought him on, radio icons for decades in Central New York. My former coworkers, two of the best in the business. They are Ted and Amy from the morning show on 93Q. I've known them forever. And above all, I've said this to everybody, and you guys both know this. Very proud to call you friends as well. Welcome in.
Oh,
thank you, Michael. Thanks, Joe.
Right back at you.
Absolutely. It's nice to see you guys.
Good to see you. Now, Mike, these guys were booked almost a year. I don't know how you got them. It was great.
Yeah, well, I talked to I got Ted's agent on the phone quick.
Yeah.
It was super easy. I didn't even have to deal with Amy, actually. I just dealt with I dealt with Ted.
Right.
We finally found a number we could agree on. Yeah. And then so we're good to go.
All right. Well, I love it. I wanted to start out with just asking you guys in terms of since social media has started, how has it changed your careers?
Well, I got to say, Amy is the queen of posting on social media. She pretty much does all of our stuff during the morning show.
Yeah, I mean, it really changed everything. Who would have thought that we would do a monthly makeover, right? Or something like that on radio. But since the internet, the development of the internet and social media, which both has happened since we've been on the air, we really can share a lot more when it comes to our listeners. So it's changed us a lot. That being said, radio used to be 100% of our focus, right? So we would say, okay, so the next break, we're going to do this and this and this. Well, between the next break, we're putting stuff on social media. So I mean, I feel like our focus has changed a lot just because we're multitasking a lot more than when our only role was to worry about the next break. But still, it's something that has, I think, been extremely positive to have as much feedback from our listeners, and certainly we've come a long way.
I'm doing all my viral dance videos on TikTok. Amy's doing all her right-wing posting on X.
Oh,
it's very busy.
Yeah,
all right.
No doubt. Joe, turn the platform over to you, my friend.
So, Amy, you're going to meet my daughter, Alyssa, tomorrow. My question is, both of you guys have had 3 to 4 generations of listeners, right? From me way back to my daughter, my wife, different mixtures. How do you both keep up with the generations of style of the times in the communication each morning with the different years of you've gone? I mean, it's amazing that you've been doing this 3 and 4, 30, 40 years. How do you keep up with the times, with your jargon, your personalities? Has any of that changed?
Well, thankfully, I'm stunted mentally as far as growing into adulthood, so I can kind of relate still to the younger people. I have young kids that I still talk with on a daily basis, and I try and stay hip through the social media. Amy, you got to tell them about the slumber party. I mean, you have 21 to 91-year-olds at the slumber party.
Yeah, I mean, but we work really hard to still stay relevant. You know what I mean? And to talk about relevant things. We obviously have a lot of hip coworkers, so they keep us relevant. But we do.
I'm gone.
Yeah, it's not as hip as it used to be.
Now that Mike's gone. But I mean, it is something. I think it has been a positive aspect because let's say you grew up listening to us when you were little and now you have kids. It's kind of, I mean, we're kind of like the old shoe, right? You feel comfortable listening to us. So I think it's helped that we have drawn them from the time that they're little up until they're now adults. But you're right. We want to stay so that we're still talking about what every generation wants to talk about. I think also our secret is that more and more radio is not local. And both of us are from here, and both of us are very, very focused. Our show is in entirety is focused on being local. And so I think that really has helped us throughout the years because we have stayed so much Syracuse and Central New York.
Ted and Amy with us here on Off the Charts. Mike Lindsley, Joe Jr., all presented by CH Insurance. They are in your corner, whether it's the app or streaming online on the radio. You can walk into the state fairgrounds and listen to you guys wherever it might be where Ted and Amy are. And it's a show and it's a listener, whether it's 8, 12, 21, 50, 90 years old. What do you hope they say about you when that microphone goes off?
Well, I hope they feel like we're a friend of theirs. I mean, we reveal quite a bit about ourselves on the air, so we're pretty much open books as far as that goes. In fact, if you know, it's not unusual to run into somebody in a grocery store and they'll ask me how my son is doing down in South Carolina or whatever, because they listen, and we pretty much talk about our lives fairly
And
openly.
I think we are very much like we are on the air as we are off the air.
Yeah.
Totally.
I hope that people will look back and say, we think they're very genuine, because we are. And we don't have a different persona that we use when we're on the air and off the air. We're just people just like everybody else regarding our lifestyles. And we're very open about that and our struggles. And not everything is always like, oh, we're, big radio personalities. We're very genuine. And I think also we have heard that we don't have big egos, that we try to be very kind.
Well,
and we try to remember.
One of us doesn't.
One of us. You can guess which one. But no, I feel like, we don't try to put on airs. We're just who we are, and we do this as a job. And I hope that people will say that about us for many years to come.
Hopefully we're that, that extra chair at the breakfast table in the morning. People feel like, we're a part of their morning routine and a part of the family.
You are. Yeah. Is a dynamic duo, what I want to know, across the country, is there anyone else like you that's been doing this for 30, 40 years on the air together?
Not since Abbott and Costello passed away. No, I'm trying to think. As far as radio goes, I mean, it's very unusual to be at a station for as long as we have, let alone together. I mean, doing a morning show together for as long as we have, it might be a rarity, really.
And by the way, the years, we're going to hit 37 years in November. So we just celebrated this past year our 36th anniversary. So it has been crazy. Now, if you're wondering, I started when I was 8. So if you're trying to add in your head, that was,
where did you start your careers? At here, or were you on other stations?
All right. Well, interestingly, I emceed a talent show in high school, and one of the judges was a sales manager from the radio station. This was 45 years ago. And he said, "You're a funny kid. Why don't you come in, make a tape? We'll see if, we can find something for you." 45 years ago. I've been here ever since. Amy came on board almost 37 years ago to do the morning show with me. And you actually went to college for this.
I went to Ithaca College, School of Broadcasting, and then for a year right out of that, I worked at WEZG, which was an easy listening radio station in town. And I had interviewed to do a news segment here. It was Laird and Long in the morning was the morning show. And so I came in just under the impression that I was just going to do a newscast and then leave and then come back in a half an hour and do a newscast. And both of them said, hang around. I was a hot little 20-year-old cookie back then, hang around. And so I started hanging out more and more in the studio. And it just kind of turned out that, especially, obviously, Ted and I have very good chemistry. And so it kind of resulted in the fact that it turned into the Ted and Amy morning show about like 6 months later, a year later, something like that.
And even though her degree is in journalism, but you weren't really that hard-hitting on the street.
I was not.
Reporter
I had a 4-year degree, and I realized I pretty much sucked at doing news reporting. So this is probably a better path to take.
Yeah.
So you're having fun. I know, Mike, but you're having fun, as my dad always says, and he's still working. When you're not having fun, that's the time to hang it up. What is your?
Very true.
Where's your end? I mean, you're having fun, obviously, but is the end near?
Oh, man, he just asked you the Jim Boeheim question. He just gave you the Jim Boeheim presser question when he retiring.
Okay.
We're trying to get at the little sports tinge, right, Mike? Because that's what we're all about here.
Oh, I'm sorry. But
I'm ready to go to the European League one of these times, right? No, we have both talked about it, and we will keep doing this as long as we're, like you say, Joe, as long as we're both still having fun. We still laugh every day, and as long as they still want us here, we're in it for the long haul. I'm in no hurry to retire.
Great.
But I will say, obviously, you guys know radio and radio competition has changed a lot. I mean, we talked about social media, media rather. Radio is not the only source of information now, and entertainment and music. And so we know that. And radio in general has changed. And so, you know, we're trying to be honest with ourselves regarding how long this great morning show will last and people will still want us and everybody would still want us. So we're trying to be very realistic about that. But when it comes down to it, we still have fun every day.
Right. And who would have thought, Amy, you know, as a sponsor, thank you for everything you do for CH Insurance, where, Mike, as you guys know, we come in once a month, talk for maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and here's the head of radio splicing the interview up. Who would have thought you'd do that? And that's what she's talking about. So they're making their sponsors look good. And I want to thank you for that and being patient with us and learning insurance, which I'm sure that'll be a question, how you've learned and loved insurance. But, you know, doing the things you need to do to help make us look good. So thank you for that.
Well, and you know, Joe, I became a big fan. I never would have known what CH Insurance offers if I hadn't been interviewing you. And we switched to CH Insurance probably 6 months ago. There you go. I mean,
you're bundled, right?
I'm bundled. I love when
bundled.
says you're bundled.
I'm
your
bundled.
husband was a fair but tough cookie, but he was a great
No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Hey, guys, final question in about 90 seconds that we have left. If you're 18 years old today, Ted, Amy, the way it is media-wise now we've talked about, all the stuff that you experienced is in the past. We're starting now. Social, digital, the craziness, wearing 100 hats. Mm-hmm. Do you still do it the same way? Do you still go to Ithaca? Do you still jump into the business the same way? Or are you an entrepreneur? Do you start your own station on a YouTube? How do you approach it? If you, let's say you meet, maybe we should do this. How do you go into the business if it were today, not years ago, today?
That's an interesting question. I think probably it would be some sort of online, maybe a YouTube channel, or you would start your own podcast. There's not really entry-level positions like there used to be when I started in radio. Right. There's no more overnights or weekends. So it would probably be something like that, I would think.
And then again, I mean, if you're enthusiastic about communications, you find a way to make it happen. And we still have employees that come in that are just out of college that make it happen. Mm-hmm. I will say, when I graduated, or actually when I wanted to go to Ithaca, my father said to me, "You're going to get a job in radio? Really? We're paying for a degree for you for radio. Great." And so I think I had no choice but to get a job in radio. But you know, back then it was even a little iffy. So I think you gotta follow your dreams, man. You gotta do what makes you happy.
No doubt about that. Well, it's been great going off the charts with really radio icons in Central New York and beyond. Ted and Amy, they are the hosts of the Ted and Amy Morning Show on 93Q. Make sure you listen on the app, streaming, and of course, on the radio on 93Q. Off the Charts is presented by CH Insurance. They are in your corner. Go check them out online. Insurance coverage, group benefits, and more in your corner at chinsurance.cc. Mike Lindsley, Joe Jr., Ted Long, Amy Robbins, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week. And you guys keep going as long as you can on the radio. We love you.
Thanks,
love you.
Guys.
Thank
you. Great job.